So, Mark, did you see that video of the guy, the legend, I don't know what you want to call him, doing that backflip at the chandelier bar at Cosmo? This guy went for it, and people can see how it ended.
The backflip. He attempted the back. I can't believe there was no security either when he stood up there or after he felt like that video. I mean, kudos to his friend for just, filming him in pain for about 30 seconds. But nobody comes over and says anything, trashes the chair. Definitely broke, and how dare you do it in the chandelier bar? Save that for like Circus or something.
I'm a little disappointed. You've never done this. I mean, I feel like this is right up your alley. Yeah.
No, I know I would die trying to backflip. How many ribs do you think he broke in the filming of that video?
Yeah, quite a few, and his ego too.
Yeah.
So the Best of Las Vegas awards came out from Las Vegas Weekly. And this is one of the best awards, Review Journal has theirs, Las Vegas Weekly. This has been around for a very, very long time. And, they have all kinds of different things from different restaurants to best hotels. And we'll talk about some of the bigger categories. But let's start with this. Best Jazz Sushi Fusion Restaurant goes to Maxen Jazz. Did they pay for this category? Like, is there more than one of these places?
I was going to say, if we need any more evidence that these are pay for play for at least a chunk of these things, the next one on the list is also definitely a pay for play. But Jazz Fusion Restaurant, it doesn't make any sense why this is a category at all.
All right, so let's talk about some of the other categories. Best Strip Casino, is that the one you're talking about? Resorts World? Yeah, I mean, people voted for it.
Money people voted for it.
Some other interesting things. Area 15 won for Best Attraction. Omega Mart specifically won for Best Immersive Attraction. So both of those are winners. Pink Box won for Best Donuts, which I don't agree with. I like their donuts, but they're not the best donuts in Las Vegas. Best Brewery, Able Baker. I know you like Able Baker, and they're pretty popular. Downtown, Circa wins for Best Hotel. So, that's probably good.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the list actually makes a lot of sense. I don't have too much to gripe with. Circa is, by and far away the best hotel, I think, on the Strip. If you're just going for, like, setup, quality, all that stuff, I'm sure people have other properties they like more, which makes sense. You have your favorites and everything. But I don't think you can argue too much. Able Baker, I'm a little sore on them because we tried to have a meetup there and they wouldn't let us do it a couple years back. But, they have good beer and a good area, and Arts District represented. I'm just, Resorts World. I can't get past that.
Last one, Best Place for IG, the Neon Museum. So shout out to them. They did let us have a meetup there. So, we did a tour there. So that was fun.
I almost got kicked out, but yes, we did.
Yeah. Well, that's another story. Maybe deservedly so. Let's just say that. So on the last show, we talked about ESPN Bet and Penn Entertainment and how they are doing this weird thing with Barstool, giving it back, going with ESPN, Disney really focusing on the gambling and kind of getting into this market. At the same time, Wynn announced like the next day that they're getting out of the WynnBet market. They're shutting down WynnBet in almost every state. There are a couple states, I think New York and Michigan, where they say they're doing a study. And then the other states being Massachusetts and Nevada, where they have a physical presence, they're keeping. Everything else they're giving up, basically saying marketing costs are too high, the acquisition of customers are too high, and they're not making enough money.
Yeah, and we saw that here when they launched, and we were one of the earlier states to adopt it, and one of the few that has casino attached to the sportsbook. And the type of promos they rolled out with were just huge. And, you can go state to state and just sign up for these programs. Some allow you to do multiple states, with the same account and get the bonuses. And you can make money off the bonuses and never play again. So the acquisition cost is huge, especially for big players like DraftKings was rolling out all kinds of insane promos. Like you came to Michigan just to take advantage of one. So I had thought, maybe it was just casino states. The casino brings enough money in, but they're shutting down New Jersey.
As you point out, there was sort of a Wild West when it came to these sports betting apps and acquisition, and we've seen this in other like Uber and all kinds of different apps where they give these really generous promos to attract customers, and they're basically losses, and the idea being you'll grow enough of your customer base to make the money up in time. And Wynn seems like they're just saying we're going to focus on our physical presence and a few other states. But the one thing that a lot of people don't talk about, and every state is different, but states are taxing sports betting at huge margins, and that puts a huge tax. I think New York is like 50%. I forget what the number is. It's really high. Now Wynn getting out and saying we don't need customers in all these states. We'll just focus where we have casinos.
We've talked about there's not a lot of money to be made in sports betting. We saw that in the numbers last week, how that, providing profit in Vegas is, 4 or 5%, I think we saw. So it's not a major player on in scale compared to slots or table games.
So let's talk about how the casinos make money and specifically how much money the casinos are holding. I saw Jacob, I think Jacob's Life in Vegas, he shared this, but it still comes from UNLV, but it's the hold percentage by year for casinos, basically how much of your money they're keeping each year. And when you look at this, and it goes statewide, downtown, the strip, so you have all the different markets, but when you look at it, it's very clear pretty much across the board. Casinos are taking more money. That means that the odds are worse for you. Just year by year, less and less money staying in people's pockets, more and more money going to the casinos.
It kind of kills the whole downtown gives you better odds too. You know, downtown's the worst place to play slots. According to these figures, almost 10% that they're keeping, which kind of blew my mind. Like I expected that to be on the lower end of things. Laughlin's a little bit higher than I would have thought. Reno's where you go for bang for your buck. So if you want to go, hit up some slots, I guess Reno's the best place to play.
Yeah, Reno bucked the trend, right? They're basically the only market that didn't really increase. 5.18 is the average over the entire span from 2004, and they were at 5.22 in 2023. So almost right at the average. Where, as you point out, downtown Las Vegas back in 2004 kept 5.87%, and in 2023, 9.93%, the highest of anywhere in the entire state. Yeah, downtown last year, not good to gamble there at all. Better to gamble on the strip, actually, based on these numbers.
Yeah, which, I think that'll blow people away. And I know they have better table game odds, lower limits, but for slot play, you would think that would go along. And that's, another misnomer that we saw, like higher limit slots don't necessarily pay better. And everybody always believed that. So downtown, not great for slots. And big time $25 and up machines are not great either.
It's insane. And I think these numbers do reflect the changing casino landscape, right? You have worse odds on table games. We see this in blackjack and roulette. This has been happening across the board. And then you have the prevalence of these video slots. You used to have a lot more video poker machines with higher paybacks. Now you have these video slots with very low paybacks, and oftentimes they're multi-denomination, so you're getting the lower odds, where we saw in those numbers, if you do like a quarter slot or even a dollar slot, your odds are better. Whereas you start to go really high end, your odds get worse, or even multi-denomination or penny slots, they're worse. So the most popular things in the casino, all worse odds than you would have gotten 20 years ago. Slots, tables, pretty much everything across the board.
3-0, 000 roulette. There we go.
When I was on the strip at the Bellagio last week, I got a chance to walk through the new mall at Harmon, right next to Crystals in City Center. And we've talked a little bit about the architecture and the concept art and what it was going to look like. And, the fact that it has a Ross, but it's next to Crystals, and they were trying to go for this high-end experience. And so I finally got to walk through there. And the top level has these like little stalls, almost little shops. It really looked to me like a little bit nicer of a version of the Grand Bazaar shops. I really hate to say it. Other than that, it sort of fits in fine. The Ross is huge. It's nice, but it's still Ross, right, on the strip. But it's big, and it's there right next to Crystals. So you can go to Ross and then go do the high-end shopping next door.
You know what Vegas needs, less of besides CVS's on the strip is Ross.
Well, speaking of that, I messed that up when I said at the Showcase Mall that it was Ross in the basement. It's Marshall's. So thanks to everybody who corrected me on that. But now they have the Ross across the street. They've added the screen on the facade of the Miracle Mile shops across the street as well. And so now we're really starting to get that Times Square look. More and more of these big screens there. And the work on the facade of Miracle Mile shops continues as they're kind of refreshing all of that. So all that's been happening. It looks pretty good. The new screen is very bright. I think a little bit more vivid than the older screens that are kind of right next door on that building that has the Bubba Gump and the Taco Bell cantina. I like that area. I feel like that's the most, the energy on the strip in that area is my favorite.
Yeah, I think it definitely is kind of like the center feature of everything right now. And that, we've talked about the bar at Waldorf Astoria, and that this is only going to make it better. Go up there at night, do yourself a favor, get off the strip a little bit, go up there, have a drink at the bar at night, sunset, when all those screens are popping. Because it's a unique view where everything else is like top tier or rooftop bar. This is like mid, right in your face. You're seeing all this stuff. So definitely go check it out.
So Virgin Hotels, your favorite thing to talk about. We know they're getting a new CEO, Cliff Atkinson, and he's coming in, or he's already there, and he's going to make some changes, basically admitting that the place isn't doing as well as it should. And the first place he's starting, or at least he's sort of hinting at in this Review Journal article, is that he's going to reinstate the center bar, or at least they're considering doing that. And this was really the centerpiece of Hard Rock. The big kind of thing was that if you sat on one end of the bar, you could whisper, and somebody on the other end of the bar could hear you talk because of the way the ceiling was. They removed this and put a walkway there. They didn't even really put anything in the space. The ceiling is still there. Yeah, this is a smart idea to bring it back. One of the dumbest things they ever did, getting rid of it. The most signature thing of the property, and you just get rid of it. I'm glad this guy is going to hopefully bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, what's your job at a casino? To get people in the door. And the first time I went to Hard Rock was just because of that bar, so you could experience it. And everybody that's come to Vegas since they shut it down, that's never experienced it, you know, that's a person that you could have gotten in there, because everybody wants to go there and sit and just have a drink, and it's crazy. And people forget that you can hear them. So they start talking about stuff they probably they wouldn't if they realized you were listening. But if you sit there in silence enough and have a beer or whatever, you're going to hear some people say some stuff, and it's kind of funny. Or you can say things to see what their reaction is. And it's a fun experience, something you don't really get anywhere else. I can't think of another bar where that happens. So they had this unique once in a lifetime type of thing that would draw people in, and they have no people on the floor right now. So why would you take that away? So they better bring it back.
Thankfully, they kept everything intact. So hopefully they can just build it and get it back to the way it was as far as the shape of the ceiling and getting that. He also mentioned the Formula One race and how they're going to have their own grandstands and how they're doing that. It's a big marketing push for them to kind of show the world that Virgin Hotels Las Vegas is here. Richard Branson may come for the festivities, so this might be a whole kind of them coming back out to the world again. But he said they're focusing on entertainment, filling their theaters. That's the way they draw people into the property. I agree with that. They have a lot of venues there, from a bigger concert venue to more intimate 300, 400 seat venues. If they can get good entertainment and get people there, that will fill the casino. The hotel is decent. I think he has a good strategy, as good as it can be given where they're at right now.
Yeah, they need to get rid of the airport shopping district there, the Hudson News and stuff, like move that out. But, they filled in a pool to put this outdoor concert venue, and we went there when, shortly after it was redone. And it's a cool spot, and it's something that I thought that they would really take advantage of and have bands there. Even if you just had local bands come and play, popular local bands, you could fill that outdoor area and get people in the casino walking through. And I can't think of anything they've done out there with that area, as far as a big concert or anything. So it's kind of crazy that they haven't used that. So I think it's a good plan. Sounds like they got a good guy in there, thinking ahead and not just trying to like hodgepodge this thing together. So hopefully they do well.
Yeah, they need a lot of help. That's all I'm going to say, as far as just everything being so disjointed. But I do wish them the best, and I do like the hotel. And I'm glad to hear that bar hopefully will come back. He didn't commit to it, so he definitely should do that. That should be top of his list.
Should be in there before Grand Prix is done, and like get it up and running, and have that be like, hey, come to our grandstand, check out our center bar. Like, let's get this rolling.
It's too soon. Too soon. They don't have enough time to do it. Man, the Grand Prix, people have heard us talk about traffic, but this is the week. These last 2 weeks, everything is closed. Like, there are so many construction closures. It's so ugly. I think Las Vegas locally put it on Twitter. Whoever decided to do all this construction at once should be arrested. And I
go
agree
to Reno
with that.
instead.
Yeah, exactly. You'll win more. So the Southern Nevada Health District released information on bed bugs, specifically related to 6 Las Vegas Strip casinos. So I'll start by saying that every hotel at some point, especially ones with this many rooms, will deal with a bed bug problem. It doesn't really matter if they're low-end, high-end, luxury hotels get bed bugs, motels get bed bugs, it happens. But the 6 hotels, Circus, Caesar's Palace, Planet Hollywood, Palazzo, Tropicana, and MGM Grand. Sahara as well. So 7 hotels. So there you go. A mixture, all different companies, different levels. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Yeah, and I mean, do an inspection. We actually have a video about that on this channel that you can, maybe Sean can link to it. But do a quick view of your bed and your box springs and stuff, and just, check under the sheets a little bit around the corners, and you can kind of catch it if there is a problem. But, Circus, everybody's like, yeah, no duh that there's bed bugs there. But then everything else listed is high end or nicer. It doesn't really matter. It's not about how much a place costs. Bed bugs just come. Like, it's a thing you have to deal with at some point in your life if you own a hotel. So hopefully they have like those, bomb sniffing dogs, but the bed bug sniffing dogs that come in and check it every month or whatever, run through the rooms. They can inspect a room in a couple seconds, and it's kind of cool and something that they do all this training for. So hopefully Vegas uses those and keeps it as minimal as possible.
I think the headline of all this is that all these hotels have done a good job. They've dealt with every time they get an issue of this. It's just an ongoing battle for hotels. So yeah, I think that's the takeaway. I think the big sort of headline is bed bugs on the Strip. And if you actually read into it, it's, isolated incidents. Hotels take care of it. They deal with it right away. And you do the best you can. People are going to have bed bugs at their house that they're going to bring to a hotel. I don't know how you prevent that. So yeah, good on them. And yeah, you can make your jokes about Circus Circus and Tropicana, but then you also got to joke about Palazzo. The last story is the craziest one. This video of this guy who used a card counting robot to cheat Las Vegas casinos, or quote unquote cheat card counting. I'm not saying he's a cheater. I'm just saying maybe from the casino's perspective, they would see it that way. Either way, they hook up this rig, they get this robot, they hook up video feeds. And they film all of this and put it up on YouTube. And essentially, they didn't do this over a period of time. They were trying to prove a point. So they were, waiting for the deck to get to an advantageous place, came in, placed the bet. This is pretty clearly illegal under Nevada law, or at least my understanding of it, using a device to aid you. Some people say they'll probably just get banned because, they only won $500. But it is crazy to me that you would film all of this, put it on YouTube, and the fact that this robot worked spectacularly. I mean, it worked great.
I don't know why they need a robot. It's just like a computer program. You think you could just... I know they did it because it's cooler for the video, but you think you just have a video and a computer program would track the count. Like, you don't really need a guy sitting next to you and saying plus 17, plus 13, plus, all that stuff. But it is a bizarre video, and they got lucky because when the count's plus, it doesn't mean that you're going to win all the time. Like, the dealer could have still pulled a 20. You just are more likely to have more bus cards or whatever. So they really, when the count's plus, you want to play a longer period. Because I've watched videos of these guys and they'll lose $50,000 at one casino and then win at the next because it doesn't guarantee that you're going to win. So even them winning 500 doesn't prove anything except for that they're never going back to Vegas again.
Yeah, and who knows how many times they filmed it. I could imagine a scenario where they filmed several hands and he wins that big one and, that's all that you show. So who knows if it actually won. As you point out, it just improves your odds. You can still lose a single hand. If you play over time, you should win more. Compared to if the deck wasn't in your favor. Either way, this is just an insane thing. I don't know whether I should be in awe of them or just call them stupid for doing this. I don't know if they'll get officially banned from casinos. I think this was the golden nugget as far as I could tell. People could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was the golden nugget that they were playing at. So we'll see. But Vital Vegas said gaming regulators are looking at it. At the very least, you would have to think, if I owned a Vegas casino, I would ban these guys from coming in. I mean, you're talking about video. It's a very sophisticated thing, and you're right. They didn't need the robot sitting there. A program could have done that. But it's reading the video feed and actually counting the cards in real time, which is fun. And the fact that they did get a robot to do it in real time, I don't know. Yeah. It wouldn't have been the same video without that.
No, the robot definitely adds something to it. And it's a very entertaining video. I loved watching it. So I get why they did it, and it is good entertainment. It's a good video. I'm sure everybody here will watch it. It's definitely worth checking out. I just would have gone to Montana's casino and done it, so I wouldn't be banned from Vegas for life. Get banned at some, backwoods casino in the middle of nowhere. Go there and do it. It works the same way, but it's kind of funny that, they went to Vegas, did it up, did it big, got their video out of it. So maybe they don't care.
I think that's it. Their whole channel is about getting dared to do stuff. So this was a dare, and I guess they'll move on to the next one, and hopefully they don't have too big of repercussions. I'm sure, like you said, at the very least, they won't be allowed back in casinos. But let us know what you guys think about that stunt, the guy flipping at the Cosmo, the best of Las Vegas. What is your favorite jazz fusion restaurant? If that one isn't yours, let us know down in the comments. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in just a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good week, everybody.